King Okaka ruled a prosperous kingdom. His reign was peaceful, his people were content. Yet, a shadow of worry loomed over the king's heart. Okaka yearned for an heir. He longed for a son to inherit his throne. He prayed for years. The gods, it seemed, remained deaf to his pleas. One day, a sage visited the king. He spoke of a powerful deity, Saka, the king of the gods. The sage advised Okaka to seek Saka's blessings. Okaka, filled with hope, decided to perform a grand sacrifice. He gathered his priests. He prepared offerings. He prayed with all his heart to Saka. Weeks turned into months. Still, there was no sign of an heir. Okaka's worry deepened. His queen, too, shared his sorrow. The kingdom seemed to reflect their sadness. The once vibrant court felt somber. Everyone awaited a miracle. News reached Saka in his celestial abode. He saw Okaka's devotion. He decided to answer the king's prayers. One night the queen had a dream. A radiant being appeared before her. He held a beautiful lotus flower. He placed it gently on her hand. A divine fragrance filled the room. The queen awoke with a start. She felt a strange energy within her. Months passed. The queen realized she was with child. The kingdom rejoiced at the news. Okaka was overjoyed. Finally, his prayers were answered. The queen's pregnancy was smooth. She gave birth to a healthy baby boy. The entire kingdom celebrated the prince's arrival. They named him Kusa. It was a name that signified strength and resilience. The king and queen showered the prince with love. They provided him with the best education. Kusa grew up surrounded by scholars and teachers. Years flew by. Prince Kusa blossomed into an intelligent young man. He excelled in his studies. He mastered the art of warfare. His wisdom impressed everyone who met him. Kusa, however, bore an unfortunate flaw. He was not blessed with good looks. In fact, he was rather unattractive. Some courtiers whispered about it behind their hands. They wondered how such a wise prince could be so unfortunate in his appearance. But Kusa paid no heed to such idle talk. He immersed himself in his studies. He honed his skills. He believed that true worth lay not in appearances but in character and intellect. Kusa's wisdom spread far and wide. Scholars from distant lands sought his counsel. Kings envied Okaka for having such a gifted heir. Yet the shadow of Kusa's appearance lingered. It became a silent concern for the king and queen. One day a renowned sculptor arrived in the kingdom. He had been commissioned by the king to create a masterpiece. The sculptor decided to craft a statue of a woman. He used the finest gold. He worked tirelessly for months. Finally, the statue was complete. It was breathtakingly beautiful. The statue was placed in the palace gardens. People came from far and wide to admire it. Prince Kusa, too, went to see the statue. He was captivated by its beauty. He stood there for hours, gazing at it. An idea began to form in his mind. Kusa approached his parents. He expressed his desire to marry. He shocked everyone with a strange request. He wanted a bride who looked exactly like the golden statue. The king and queen were taken aback. They tried to reason with him. They reminded him that finding such a woman would be impossible. Section 5. The Quest for a Princess. The king and queen were in a dilemma. They couldn't bear to see their son unhappy. They decided to fulfill his wish. They summoned their most trusted ministers. The ministers were tasked with a seemingly impossible mission. They were to scour the kingdoms to find a maiden who resembled the golden statue. The ministers were dismayed. They knew such perfection was unheard of. However, they dared not disobey the king's command. The ministers set out on their quest. They travelled far and wide, visiting countless kingdoms. They saw many beautiful women. None, however, came close to the ethereal beauty of the golden statue. Just when the ministers were about to give up hope, they received news. There was a princess of exceptional beauty in a distant land. Her name was Pabhavati. The ministers rushed to the kingdom. They hoped against hope that they had finally found Kusa's bride. Section 6. A mother's plan and a veiled meeting. The ministers returned to King Okaka's court. They were excited. They told the king about Princess Pabhavati. They described her beauty in detail. The king was elated. He immediately sent a messenger to Pabavati's father. He asked for her hand in marriage to his son Kusa. Pabavati's father agreed to the proposal. He had heard of Prince Kusa's wisdom. He considered it a good match. Preparations for the wedding began in both kingdoms. Queen Silavati, however, had her doubts. She knew about Pabavati's beauty. She also knew her son's unfortunate looks. She worried about Pabavati's reaction. Silavati devised a plan. She suggested that Kusa and Pabavati should meet. However, their first meeting would be through a veil. She hoped that Pabavati would not be able to see Kusa's face. She prayed that Pabavati would be charmed by his wisdom and character instead. Section 7. Disappointment and Flight. Pabavati arrived at King Okaka's kingdom. She was received with great honor. The wedding day was fast approaching. Queen Silavati decided to put her plan into action. She arranged a private meeting between Kusa and Pabavati. A beautifully decorated chamber was chosen for the meeting. A delicate silk veil separated the two. Kusa and Pabavati sat facing each other. Kusa was nervous. He wanted to impress Pabavati with his intellect and wit. He started talking about philosophy, he started talking about art, he started talking about politics. Pabavati, however, was impatient. She was curious to see her future husband. She wanted to see if he was as handsome as she had heard. Unable to contain her curiosity any longer, she decided to peek. She lifted a corner of the veil. To her horror, she saw Kusa's face. She was immediately repelled. Section 8. The Many Faces of Love. Kusa, unaware of Pabavati's reaction, continued talking. He was completely engrossed in the conversation. He believed he was making a good impression. Suddenly, he felt a presence near him. He turned around. To his shock, the chamber was empty. Pabavati was gone. Kusa was heartbroken. He realized that Pabavati had seen him. He knew she had fled because of his looks. Kusa was devastated. He locked himself in his room. He refused to eat or drink. The king and queen tried to console him. Their words, however, fell on deaf ears. Determined to win Pabavati's heart, Kusa devised a plan. He was a master of disguise. He decided to use this skill to his advantage. He transformed himself into a handsome young man. He then approached Pabavati, pretending to be a stranger. Section 9. When Kings Became Suitors. Pabavati was taken aback by the stranger's charm. She was drawn to his wit and intelligence. She had no idea that this handsome stranger was none other than Kusa in disguise. Kusa continued to meet Pabavati in his various disguises. He wanted her to fall in love with his true self, not his appearance. Meanwhile, Saka, the king of the gods, had been observing these events. He admired Kusa's determination. He decided to intervene. Saka appeared before 6 powerful kings. He disguised himself as a priest. He told each king that Pabavati was destined to be his bride. The kings, blinded by Saka's illusion, were ecstatic. They rushed to Pabavati's kingdom, each hoping to win her hand. Pabavati was annoyed by this sudden influx of suitors. She refused to entertain any of them. She told them that her heart belonged to the mysterious stranger she had met. Section 10. Unveiling True Worth. Saka, still disguised as a priest, approached Pabavati. He told her that he could bring her beloved stranger to the palace. Pabavati was overjoyed. She readily agreed to Saka's proposal. Saka then went to Kusa. He revealed his true identity. Saka asked Kusa to appear before Pabavati in his true form. He assured Kusa that Pabavati was ready to accept him for who he truly was. Kusa was hesitant at first. He had been hurt before. He was afraid of being rejected again. However, he trusted Saka. He decided to take a leap of faith. Kusa appeared before Pabavati. He stood before her, without any disguise, his heart pounding in his chest. Pabavati was shocked. She recognized him as the intelligent stranger she had fallen in love with. She realized that she had been a fool. She had misjudged him based on appearances. Section 11. A love story written in the stars. Pabavati apologized to Kusa for her behavior. She confessed her love for him. She had finally realized that true beauty lay not in outward appearance, but in character and intellect. Kusa was overjoyed. He forgave Pabhavati instantly. He had always believed that she was meant to be his. The wedding took place with great pomp and ceremony. The 6 kings, freed from Saka's illusion, realized their folly. They blessed the couple. Kusa and Pabhavati returned to Kusa's kingdom together. They lived happily ever after, their love a testament to the fact that true love sees beyond appearances. It is said that Kusa and Pabhavati's love story was not just a coincidence. They had been destined to be together. In a previous life, they had both prayed to be reborn into a life where they would find true love. Their prayers had been answered. Their love story became a legend, a tale whispered through the ages, reminding everyone that true love knows no bounds.